It was cracking, everybody. So I had a I had a video of mine that was gonna be the next video I did, right? And then something dawned on me today, and I said, man, nobody has really ever made a video about this, and so I'm gonna do it. But um, before I go into it, I want to preface it with this, okay? Um, Before Tupac and Death Row blew up and made being a blood like the end thing, the cool thing, uh, anybody, black, Mexican, white, whatever that was gelling it back then. Before then, I mean, would tell you this is the truth. Before all that, there was very few bloods, right? I mean, there were blood gangs. There's been blood gangs for a long time now. But back then, put it like this. You could go to a dorm, okay? Like in Paso, you go to a dorm, and there would be 75 people on that dorm, okay? Out of those 75, there might be 20 that would be Mexican, okay? And there might be 3 or 4 that were white, maybe, right? And the rest was black. And out of those blacks, maybe like the deepest you would see bloods would be maybe 5, 6, couple Bay Area dudes, and the rest were Crips. Crips were always deeper, right? And the thing was back then was to be a blood, you had to have balls, man, because everywhere they went, they were probably going to be by themselves or have 1 or 2 homeboys, and they'd have to fight all them Crips. And I give you an example. I'll give you 2 examples. So in Paso, they had this unit, Cayuques, okay? Cayuques was, all the blacks there were Crips, all of them, okay? But it was weird because I was the only dorm in Paso where there was almost as many Mexicans as blacks in that dorm. That was the only dorm like that. And, but like I said, there was no bloods. And I remember, and so I remember the 2 times that they put a blood over there. And, you know, like when I'm talking about the pen, I never say nobody's names. They don't need to be said. But when we're talking about white shit, we're all kids, badass kids, and I'm gonna tell you, I remember B-Dog from PDL was the first one that I remember. They sent him into Cayuques, okay, and when you're gonna go to chow, they'll close the little yard down, and everybody has to come in the day room, and then they'll do the movement. Everybody take it outside. Everybody lines up in the rows. They do their count, call in the count, head towards the chow hall. When they come back, everybody goes in the day room, and the senior or whatever fucking COs or YCs, they call them back then, GSs and YCs, will say whatever the program's going to be, if it's going to be day room and dorm, if it's going to be day room and yard, whatever it's going to be. And so they used to call that like community or some shit, right? And then that takes like 10, 15 minutes. And then they'll open whatever it is, the yard and the door, whatever program's open. Well, the day B-Dog got there, he was there, for the day, whatever. And then when it was time to go to chow at night, B-Dog got like, I don't know how many soups, say 5 or 6 soups, and put them in a bowl, filled the bowl up with water. And as they were gonna, you know, they were doing their community, he put his bowl in the microwave, right? And when they were gonna move out, you know, take the movement outside so they could go to the chow hall, B-Dog turned the dial all the way. And I don't know if that's 30 minutes, 35, 40, whatever it is on them old ass microwaves. So that's what he turned it to. Cayucas went to the chow hall, boom, ate, came back. The COs were doing the cops were doing their community. Okay, this is what the program's gonna be, this and that. And B-Dog was right there by the fucking microwave, by his food, you know, chilling. And as soon as they said, all right, program's open, B-Dog opened up the microwave, grabbed the bowl of fucking noodles, his sopa, and threw it in the face of Hog. I want to say Hog. He was a big old crip from, I want to say he was from Insane. But he was the biggest dude there. And B-Dog threw the fucking noodles on him. They stuck to his face and just got off on him. Blah, 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 blah. You know, the Crips jumped in, boom. But B-Dog did his thing because he knew these motherfuckers are going to wait till the middle of the night and get me when I'm trying to sleep because it's a dorm. The second one, now they learned. The Crips learned from that one. So, unfortunately for Bolo from Swan, went to Cayucas. And as soon as he walked in the building, they rushed him. Okay. Now, I'm mentioning these two dudes and the Bloods and how they were short for a reason. Because those of you that watched my video on YA racism, that's how it was. It was, especially in Paso Robles. In Paso, you had the racial shit and the gangbanging shit. You had places like Nales that had more of just the gangbanging shit. But Paso was super, like, it was, and there's going to be dudes that watch and say, man, Nales is harder. Whatever. Motherfuckers fucked up in Nales, they got sent to Paso. Motherfuckers fucked up in Paso, they went to Preston or YTS or, you know what I mean? Chad, when that opened later. But, so here's the twist. Here's the thing. And I was thinking, man, nobody's ever told this story or mentioned this. But anybody who was in YA around at a certain time will remember this. So, in YA, there were occasions where, so one time we had two riots in one day in my dorm. Before the riot, the day before, we threw a junta and decided we were going to do that. And it had nothing to do with us. I told the story before, it had something to do with Cayucas because they let the East Coast jump a dude from Florencia. Nobody jumped in, so our dorm felt like, fuck that compa is no good, that they're leva, this stupid YA kid shit. But we said we're going to set an example. We're going to get off on the blacks in our unit because it's something over there. It doesn't make sense really, but that was just, the ego thing and the racist thing. But the twist is the Bloods saw the junta, and after it was over, they approached the Raza and said, hey, look, man, we know you guys are up to some shit because of that thing over there. And it ain't our thing, man. That was East Coast. I wasn't Blood, so we don't want to have nothing to do with it, And the Raza were like, cool. There was an understanding, hey, don't touch none of the Bloods. Unfortunately, there was 3 white boys in our unit. They don't know the difference between a Crip and a Blood, and one of them socked a Blood. Bloods turned around and started, chunking them for theirs, and, so that fucked that up. But here's the weird thing that later on, I had already gotten kicked out of Napomo. I was in Cambria, which, if you've ever been to Paso, those of you that have been there know that's Paso's shoe. So I was over there in Cambria, and a riot kicked off on Napomo. But it was a joint effort. It was the Raza and the Bloods together rushing the Crips. It wasn't that the Raza needed the Bloods. It was, I think, more that because the Bloods were so outnumbered, they really couldn't have a riot. Like, they could get off, but, you know, the tide wasn't going to be in their favor because there's so many Crips all the time. And so, Bolo from Swan on the Pomo. And I remember after that riot, they sent some of the vatos, you know, blacks and Raza to Cambria, the little shoe. And so they're telling us that they had come to an understanding that we're gonna get off, and you know, the Raza and the Bloods talk. Yeah, we'll do it. Just, you know, and when you're in Hawaii, that's just fun. You know, just a riot. Fuck it, it's fun. You know, unfortunately, people get killed, but when you're a kid, you don't think of those things, right? But Bolo from Swan had asked for permission. Hey, man, can I kick this thing off? And the Raza were like, nah, you ain't gonna kick it off. You could be side by side. Like, we can jump on somebody together, me and you, somebody told them. But we got this. We're gonna kick it off. And so Bolo was like, all right, cool. When they were going out to where it was supposed to happen, everybody planned it. Bolo walked up to a dude from Main Street, took off on him, and the whole fucking riot went. But that happened on several occasions, man, where the Bloods and Raza would move on the Crips together. And you also had in the like in Chad, it may have been in, I think it was in Preston too. I never went to Chad and Preston, but they had where the Crips and the Raza from up north were moving on Bloods and Raza from down south at the same time. It was weird, man. And so I wanted to put that out there. I was just, because I was thinking about how, you know, these couple little videos came out and it's the back and forth, but how, you know, all the stuff that everybody's trying to do to alleviate the black and brown tensions, and that, you know, it's time for that shit to, you know, it's played its course, it's run its course, it's done whatever. And for those on both sides, Raza and black, that say, you know, too much has happened and it could, you know, fuck that and fuck them, and I was thinking how back then, as racial as everything was, for a common enemy, they were able to come together and deal with that enemy, right? And they were successful. And so I think, you know, when we're trying to better the lives of our children, of our family, create a different path for the next generation, and, you know, hopefully that would continue. It's important that you know, and there's a common enemy, and I'm not gonna say it's the white man, and because it's not. It's I want to say the common enemy is ignorance, man. And I mean ignorance in the way that we place our minds in a box that we don't want to get out of because it's comfortable, and in looking at, you know, the blacks when you're Mexican, or the Mexicans if you're black, you know, vice versa. But also the fact that we don't take advantage of our tenacity, you know. In the comment section, me and another viewer were discussing how, you know, we come from greatness. You know, we come from, you know, if you look at the pyramids here and you look at the ones in Africa, and they are so perfect the way that they're built, that what have people said about them? They must have been made by aliens. Nah, they were made by our people. You know, our people were mathematical geniuses, and yet we struggle in math. You know, our ancestors, the Mexica were the first to make school mandatory for both sexes. And look at how many of our people don't finish school or don't have a fucking college degree. I'm not of the belief that you have to have a college degree to be successful, but it doesn't hurt, you know? And so I just wanted to make a quick video about that, man, that, you know, and YA, which to me, I mean, YA was gladiator school. There was no, you couldn't hide in YA. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was no, you can't get into it with them or, nah, you know. If somebody was walking around like they were hard that day, there was gonna be somebody to say, oh yeah, let's go in the bathroom, man. Let's go in the latrine. Just check it out. Let's see how hard you really are. And there wouldn't be no hard feelings, but, you know, it'd be like that. And then, you know, you got homies you kick it with, and you're ranfla, and then, you know, it could turn into a car war. You know, why it was a trip, man. You know, it was such a different fucking thing, and out of any place I ever did time, man. But the thing is that even in that hyper-aggressive situation, there were times when black and brown got together against, you know, a common enemy. And hey, that's just to let you know it can be done, man. With that, I'm out.